Chris milestone. Players got anything planned or any celebrations lined up?
I'll win. Would be good, but no, I probably left it too late. I was thinking last night of showing some highlights of Scotty, not from his playing days, so just in the box, and I thought that would have got the boys up, but I was just a bit too late to the party. So little spiel this morning, but yeah, it's just obviously a great milestone. We've been together along the journey for a long time, so it's great to see him still here and still really energised to perform. So yeah, we kind of go about our business and hopefully we can come away with a win.
Mitch, what's it been like to pretty much have your whole career under one coach?
Yeah, I feel really lucky, really. He's very supportive of his players. It's probably one of his key mantras, and he drives that really hard. Probably you guys see the full brunt of it after a game too. So we're very lucky in that regard. Someone that sees the game really well, someone that I've learned off from a game point of view and life as well. So I feel really blessed to be able to sit here for 265 odd games as well. So yeah, pretty lucky.
We saw your young fella out there. Take us through it's spoken about so much with Chris and the allowance of family and time away from the club. How as a senior player, how have you seen that develop over the last few years, and just even being able to bring family in and have minimal contact hours, I guess, compared to other players in the comp?
Yeah, it's something that Chris has drove really hard, I think. You probably speak to it a bit better than I will, but yeah, just as I said, very lucky to be at a footy club that can allow that. It probably comes with our list demographic a little bit, but I think living so close to training helps out as well. It takes except for maybe Danger, the rest of the boys 20 minutes max. So I think that plays a little bit of a part in it, but yeah, there's probably, you take away the stress outside of footy. There's enough stress in footy, and you've got to enjoy coming to work. So having the right environment and taking away that stress and coming in here with a bundle of energy. But when you're here to work, and you work really hard, but then outside of footy you're enjoying your life, and I think you enjoy work a lot better.
Speaking of young fella, Mitch, have you got him off Essendon yet?
He still likes the Bombers, but it's Cats first, Bombers second. We are running all the footy theme songs at the minute at home, so it's the Demons this week, so hopefully it's the only time we hear it is at home.
What changes have you noticed in Chris since 2011? Footy's changed a lot. Has your coach evolved and changed a lot over that time?
Absolutely, I think that's one of his strengths is seeing the game, as I spoke about before. So just implementing new things, new themes of the game, coming up with different ways to combat other coaches' game plans. It's a real strength of Chris's, and as I said, I feel very lucky sitting here, being in a stable footy club, a stable coach, and I think our on-field results probably tell from that. So very smart, intelligent person off the footy field, and then translates it to our game style, and then picking out a few things that the other opposition can do and trying to nullify them. He's got great support around him, although it's all about Chris, but he's have a good team around him, which I think helps as well, because you do have to delegate at times, but at the end of the day it's the boss's decision, and he cops the brunt. So he's done a fantastic job.
What about communicating with the 18-year-olds of the day compared to when you started, when TikTok and Instagram probably wasn't around? Have you seen him grow there? Because it can be a challenge for some.
Yeah, absolutely. It's even a challenge for me at times. Like, and I just turned 32, and then you got 18-year-olds that are kind of completely different aspects of their life, like with kids and no kids and going out still, and I struggle to get out of the house. So it's a challenge all over the footy club, whether you're a coach or a player. But we work really hard on it. It's an important part of the I suppose the fabric that we create and the culture. So yeah, it's an ever improvement, and I think we're doing a great job.
Chris, did you ever think you'd stay for the Cats for 300 games? I know you've spoken about sort of longevity in coaching. Did you ever imagine it back in 2011 when you stepped in your be with this one?
No, not for a second. But to be fair, I've never really felt that way. I didn't feel that way as a player, and it's one of the things I try to live now. It's just trying to be in the moment and, you know, be grateful for the opportunity that that you have. And that was, I got some good advice really early on when I was appointed. In my opinion, it was premature in my coaching journey back at the end of 2010. So not only was it premature, but I got the opportunity to come to a great club and learn from them. It wasn't the traditional situation where a new coach comes in to a club that's a little bit broken and needs to change everything. It was more incumbent on me to fit in, and right from that first day, I just felt privileged to be a part of it, and I feel pretty similar now. The 300 games has kind of snuck up on me, and really, I mean, I don't want to display any kind of false modesty or self-deprecation, but like players play 300 games. The coach just has to turn up. Like I haven't been injured once for one of these 300, so it is different.
That's how you got in front of me, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when Mitch gets there, it'll be a much finer achievement than this one.
This finals once in your how big is this challenge right now for the second half of this year compared to, I know you often don't like to go back, but how big is the challenge fronting you right now for these final 10 games?
Again, in a way, I think in a weak moment, I hoped after last year that the way I thought about competition and the challenge might be a little bit easier. And I distinctly remember going into round one thinking, I just feel exactly the same way that I did before round one the year before. Nervous. I've never come to a game coaching Geelong not being nervous and apprehensive, but excited at the same time. Those things are related, but they are slightly different. And that's the way I feel now about the rest of the season. A little bit daunting if you focus on the longer term, but hugely exciting if you focus on what we can do in the moment. And we think we've got great capacity. We understand that some things have gone against us and we haven't delivered as well as we could have, but that doesn't preclude us doing it from here on in. So it's not so much that I don't like going back, I just find it difficult to do it effectively. I find it difficult to compare even year on year, much less 4 or 5 years ago. So this is a good example this week. We play one of the really good teams in the competition, and competitors lean into those moments. And those who aren't quite as competitive or confident in the capacity that you have get daunted and shy away from it. We're not going to shy away. Must have been the talking about me because I'm too hot inside this jacket.
Mitch, the midfield second half last week has shown up here. What have you done this week to get to work on make sure that doesn't happen again?
It's probably more just sticking to our fundamentals for longer periods of the game. Like we obviously shown in the first half that our best is still really quite good, can stick it with the best. But then when any team kind of gets momentum, it's actually quite hard to stop. So it's probably more on, what can we, how can we get our game going for longer? And, that comes back to the fundamentals of the way we play, and we probably just didn't execute as best we could in the second half.
Last year in the corresponding fixture, I think you were playing Mitch then, but you guys really dominated around stoppages, dominated in clearances, got the ball inside 50 a lot more than often. It's a long way to look back, but can we sort of draw on that in any way that you did sort of that job here last year against them and beat them?
Yeah, as Scotty mentioned, we don't try and look back too much, but I think we definitely can take away how we kind of played that game as a positive. There's still a lot of similarities how both teams play from last year, so we probably try and focus more on ourselves and getting ourselves to play the best footy that we can, and then there is that 10% of stopping the key elements of Melbourne. But draw on confidence. I'm a confidence person, going to most games confident that we can win, so nothing really changes there. Just got to execute for longer.
Chris, is Paddy making pretty good progress, all things considered?
Yeah, really, really good progress. I mean, I fully expected him to declare himself fit, which he did, and he was just overruled on that one. But not by as wide a margin as I expected. So that's progressing really, really quickly. I still think he thinks he could play, but as is often the case with those guys, you've got to save them from themselves. But it looks like he'll be okay. Well, they're saying if the game was Sunday, Monday, then he'd probably be okay to play. So that's a good sign for the following week.
Will Reece Stanley return this week?
Yeah, he will. So it's exciting for us. It's been, I'm going to say his last game was gather round in Adelaide, so round 5. And last week was a pretty good example. We besides Blitzarves, who he can play a role for us in that department, but it's not our preferred option. We just literally did not have a ruckman on our list besides him. So getting Reece back is going to be a real bonus for us in terms of the way that we choose to play. And that's one of the reasons we're optimistic, because we feel like we've been disjointed for a lot of the year, but the pieces are starting to come together. And I completely get that people with different jobs might say, well, you've got to get that going pretty quickly. Our job is to focus on when we get them back. Mitch is an example, hadn't played for a long time, came back and played well last week, but he'll play better this week for the run. And we think that Reece will be a part of that puzzle that can get us close to our best pretty quickly.
And Tanner Bruin is right to go after that shoulder?
Yeah, so that's a good sign as well. So it was, in my opinion, in my uneducated medical opinion, it seems to have been a good decision to sub him off, and that's had him in better shape to be available this week.
Just on Paddy, is the lung fully inflated? I know that was a bit of a concern around him, and will he be able to train in a full capacity, or is it more around the rib that the issue is right now?
No, so I've been educated a little bit on a pneumothorax this week, and it's that's good, isn't it? That's what I said, but now I know, and now you know.
Yeah.
So that is the issue that's keeping him out, and that's very, very close to heal, but not close enough. And I don't mind saying publicly, I just have absolutely no desire to put any of our players out on the ground who are that inhibited. I think that is a product of the past. I think it happened way too much in bygone eras, and we're not going to let it happen at our club. So Paddy could have declared himself fit and demanded that he was going to play, but if this were a grand final, we still wouldn't let him play.
I believe Radigali was sort of on the edge. Is he returning this week, or is he still another week or two?
Yeah, look, I feel like I repeat myself a little bit in these situations. So at the risk of doing that, he's in the available basket, but we just chose to be conservative. So very likely he'll play next week.
Or Sheen as well?
Yeah, very, very similar boat, except O'Sheen's situation is more around us thinking about the type of player that we want him to be over the next 12 or 14 years. And so it's any kind of short-term priority gets pushed aside to make sure that we prepare him as well as we can for the long term. That doesn't mean he won't play AFL footy for us in the near future. I suspect he will, but we just want to err a little bit more on the side of caution. And if it means a little bit of VFL exposure for him, that's more a nod to his long-term preparation as opposed to where he sits in the pecking order of the team.
And is John Segler a sort of a multi-week issue? How's he sort of tracking?
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure exactly what the club update has been, but I'll elaborate a little bit more on John because he's been really unlucky. He's got a series of problems at the moment. He had the adductor issue, which really kept him out last week, but there's a chance that his ankle, which is the current problem, might have kept him out anyway. So that doesn't have him good enough to play this week, and he's a bit of a week-to-week proposition at the moment, but unavailable again.
He's obviously very new to the club, but he looked fantastic in the VFL on the weekend. How does it take time for Mitch Hardy to come into calculations? What's sort of the process with him?
No, we'd like to see a little bit more from him, but one of the questions we asked of our recruiters was, and it's a very hard one to answer because SANFL footy is different to AFL footy, but we drafted him on the basis that he had the capacity to come in and play AFL footy this year. It won't be this week, but yeah, he's got the opportunity to play his way into our team this year.
Chris, very sporting of you to give the D's a run this arvo on the ground.
We roll out the red carpet to every opposition team.
Was it a strange request? I don't, for a Melbourne-based team to come down here and want to familiarise and stay down here, I think we've experienced that for a while.
Yeah, I do my best not to think about it. I'm aware of it, and then I forgot about it until he brought it up again. Like I genuinely consider that the opposition's priorities are theirs, not mine.
So we get a set of eyes having a gaze.
100%. Listening devices, the whole 9 yards.